Hey everyone, it's Joy here for Crafty Meraki, and today I'm going to be showing you how I created this background using inks and an acrylic block. Please excuse my voice, I've been sick. So we're going to start with a piece of white mixed media paper. I have a smaller acrylic block here, and I am inking with Distress Oxide Inks. I'm starting with Spiced Marmalade, and I spritzed it with my Distress sprayer. Now this first pass, I didn't put a lot of water on, but I end up doing more water, and I like how the next passes go. So this one here, I just had leftover ink, and you can see that it was a bit more solid, where the other background was a bit more broken up, which I do like that as well, but I wanted more of a flowy look with this. So now I'm going to use picked raspberry Distress Oxide, and you can see I spritzed on a good amount of water, and when I pull this along, you kind of get these really good solid pieces, and then it's mixing a little bit with that spiced marmalade. I am letting it dry a little bit in between, but it doesn't have to be completely dry. I just don't want it to be soaking wet. So I'm going to repeat that again with the picked raspberry there up at the top. Then I did let this dry a little bit more for the salvaged patina. I didn't want that to mix too much, although it does a little bit with the pink and we get a nice purple. But I'm going to go over that a few times, and you can see that we have really nice coverage there. I'm going to do another spot with that. So I'm just cleaning off my acrylic block. I'm going to add a little bit more ink, which I probably didn't need to clean off the block. I probably could have just used that leftover ink. Spritzed it, and then I'm going to run it across this area here. I think this is a really fun background. I love colorful backgrounds, and I think this is just another fun way to get our inks onto the background in a very interesting way. Let's revisit that spice marmalade. I spritzed that really good this time, and I'm going to run this down the bottom, and you can see how solid that was. Now if you have a big glob where it's really, really wet, you can just take a dry towel and tap that off, which I do at some point. I'm going to go back again with a little more salvaged patina, spritzing that really good and kind of filling in this white area here. It just kind of looks different which direction you want to go with it. But I love how this turned out. You get a little bit of purples because of the pink and the blue, and I think that is a really fun color combination. So you get a little bit of the extra color here. I am going to use the speckled canopy dye on this background here. So I'm just going to tape that to that, run that through my die cut machine, and then just pop out all the little pieces, and then we will work with that more a little bit later. Then I have the Meraki Moments Hello die that I have die cut from black cardstock. I die cut the second shadow piece and then the first piece that has like the smaller hello part, which you'll see what I mean here in a minute. I'm going to adhere our background to a white A2 size card panel, and then I'm going to take these single pieces, these single letters, and adhere it to that smaller shadow piece is what I'm going to call it, or the second shadow piece. And they're both in black, and I love this big bold black print against a colorful background. I think they play well off of each other and they make each other pop. So I'm just using some reverse tweezers and liquid glue to get these adhered down. This also gives our sentiment a little bit of dimension. So I've got one last L here to put in place. And then we have our sentiment. Now, somehow I lost the footage, but I did color a flower from the Peony Parade. Excuse me, and I will have everything listed and linked for you guys below. I just colored this small one here with some pink and orange distress markers and then green for the leaves. It was nothing special, but I do apologize. I'm not sure what happened to my footage with that, but I am going to tuck that in behind the E of the hello and through that little swirly part, and it's going to come out of the top, and then I can just tuck those leaves in there. And you can see the other flowers off to the side that I didn't need to color because I was just wanting one color, because this is all about the background and I don't want to cover up the whole background. I think it's so pretty. So we have that fun inked background, and then you have that die, and I love that speckled canopy die. This is one of my favorites for sure. I added a small thin piece of foam tape behind the flower bud itself, and then I want to bring in a little bit of bling, so we're going to bring in the Golden Illusion gems here, and I love that there's different sizes, especially really tiny ones. Those are my favorite. And so I'm going to put a few of those around on the background, and I'm using the Bling Buddy here. And I'm just going to get those in place, and then I can use liquid glue to adhere those down. But this just gives it a nice little shine in the background and just finishes off the card. And then we can take a look at this up close and really see how colorful that background is and how those colors overlap. I just think using an acrylic block is such a fun way. And I used a small one. You could use different sizes, and that would just depend on how much coverage you get on your background. Thank you guys so very much for stopping by and watching. I hope that you feel inspired by this project, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.